I think I'm here. Hi. All right. It is 9:30 and I am still testing lighting and things like that. But I didn't want the full light to be on because not what I do in my living room is yeah. But my cat is enjoying himself, I guess roaming the house a little bit, and I'm testing different lamps and stuff like that. Um, I want to make this a more regular thing for me, Nerd Queen. And I don't know. I feel like I want to express myself in a different way. All right, so I've turned on another light just to see if that helps. Nope. You turn that off. That's not going to work. Oh well. All right, so you get what you get. All right, so um, I normally do not celebrate uh, the misfortune of others. In this case, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to because it speaks volumes on an industry that has been feeding on people for decades. Okay, so let me make sure I get this. Well, I mean, we already know. I mean, if you've watched the news or read the news today, and that's kind of what started me on this. Like looking at my feed, I try my best to not have my feed be just random. I try to curate my news as much as possible, but every once in a while, something just random, in my opinion, random gets through. And I think I saw first the R.Kelly um, verdict, and then I saw the Harvey Weinstein thing. I mean, there's so much to say on. Let's start with R. Kelly first because um, he has been a predator for years, and I'm just gonna be honest, he's not the only one in the music industry or entertainment industry that has preyed on people. Okay, and there's blame to go around. There really is when it comes to people who do these kinds of things. There's blame to go around, and yes, there's history of it. Okay, so before anybody comes at me about like, well, what about so and so? It's like, well, everybody is in charge of their own behavior. So when you say, what about somebody else? You're trying to excuse the person I'm talking about. So everybody is like, be accountable for yourself. So today I'm talking about R. Kelly and I'm talking about Harvey. I don't want to mess up because then there's Harvey Firestone, right? He's not the one I'm talking about. So I don't want y'all to be like mad at him unless he did something. Weinstein, thank you. Um, Harvey Weinstein, the producer, movie producer, former movie producer. Okay, so that's who I'm talking about. So if I slip up, as I sometimes tend to, and say Harvey Firestone is not him, sorry. Unless, like I said, unless he did something. Firestein, sorry. And then there is a Firestone too. But he didn't do nothing. Harvey Feinstein, he's fine. He's okay. I like him. Okay? As I'm looking right now at his little bio. Oh, he's so cute. Anyway. Um yeah. But anyway, R. Kelly. Let's get into it. All right, so he's been a predator for years. And the thing is, people knew about it. It was not a big secret, and this is what I'm about to disclose is that people allowed it because he had money, he had fame, and people just allowed it. And not only did people allow it, it's almost like it was like this running weird joke secret that he is a pedophile. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put that in there. He's a pedophile. Okay, and I don't remember the details about what finally got him, but nobody was saying anything. And if anything, you're blaming the victims, and that makes it even worse. Okay, when it comes to things like this, and this is yet another reason why I'm on here. And I know I'm going to talk about some hard topics. I'm going to try my best to be PG-13 about it, but it's the nature of the entertainment industry is, it can be toxic. And there are people who prey on people who don't know any better. And you end up in situations like with R.Kelly and with Harvey Weinstein, okay? Because people either they get themselves caught in a situation where it's like, well, I guess I got to do this. It's the price of doing business, right? The casting couch or whatever. Or, I mean, yeah, or you just get put in a position where there's a lot of people depending on you, assuming that, it's all this, but then it turns into this ugly other side. And it's very unfortunate. And I'm glad that they got caught. I'm hoping more people get caught. And I don't care who it is. It could be man, woman, like old girl from Smallville. She was running a cult. She got in trouble too. Get them all. Like, seriously, I am very serious. Get them all. I don't care. I can tell you stories, and a lot of times where people, and I reminisce a lot about my beginnings in the music industry, where there was, some things that were just kind of like, I don't know, and then there were some more questionable things. Like, for example, I interviewed or tried to interview to be a receptionist at a I want to say it was either a music publicist firm. It wasn't a studio, but there were definitely industry people there. And this is in Atlanta. This was like, I don't even know the year. I can't recall the year, but I know I moved here in 1999. So it had to been in the 2000s. So I went in because they were looking for a receptionist, and I was like, oh, that's a great opportunity, right? To get in the industry or whatever, and see how things are going and all this other stuff. And so the guy that I walked up into the office to, I walked to the counter. I don't think I wasn't. If you know me, it's like I wasn't dressed provocatively. I wasn't doing anything weird. And, probably even had glasses on and all that good stuff. But I walked up to the desk, the counter, and there was a man there. And I told him, I was like, I'm here for such and such for the interview for a receptionist and things like that. And then he was like, oh, like, I don't think he quite knew, or maybe he did know a little bit of something about it, but it was almost like he was like, what's going on? And so I gave him more information. Like I think I told him a name or something that I had. And then he was like, oh, well, that person's not here right now or whatever. And then this is where the odd thing comes in. So again, I'm not dressed in any kind of way except for being in an interview. Okay, I'm dressed for an interview. And so he comes he's like, he was friendly. It wasn't like he wasn't being weird or anything until he said this. He was like, "So, are you single?" And I was like, I think I was like 24 or 25 or something. And he was like, "Are you single?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he did the whole up and down look. You know what I mean? The whole he did the whole thing. And then after that, he said something about like, "Well, if you come back and we'll talk a little more, like I want to see like more about you," or something like that. But after I answered that initial question about if I was single or not, and then he did the whole up and down thing, my spidey sense were like, "I'm not coming back." And that was just like, kind of, I don't know, but it definitely made an impression on me where I'm like, I'm not coming back because first of all, you weren't even sure that there's a job opening and I had to tell you all this. And then now you're trying to find out if I'm available or not. And something to the effect of come back later. And I'm like, no, thank you. So I did not go back. And like I said, I don't recall the name of the business, but it was definitely in the industry. It was not a record label per se. I think it was like a publicist or something like that, but it was something where there was in music industry people around. So yeah, there was that. And then I could tell you yet another story. I've worked with a few photographers over the years. I even tried to do, little modeling or whatever. And I think this is what held me back. All right. So I'm now definitely spilling the tea here. So this one particular agent, like he, did all types, like all ages, like realistic, people models, so there's different kinds of agencies. And so he sent me to one of his photographer people that he knew. And I went to this person. Again, I don't remember, dude's name or whatever. And so we went and we took some photos around the neighborhood or whatever, got my headshots and stuff done. And then we went around the neighborhood and all this stuff. And then he kind of got me in a situation, not on purpose, but we're just kind of perusing the neighborhood, taking some like out in the city kind of, shots. And he got me in a place where there wasn't a lot of people around. And then he was like, "If you want more jobs, you should take your shirt off." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Just take your shirt off really quick and just let me take a photo of you." I was like, "What?" I totally was like shocked. And I was like, "No," because that was my gut reaction. I always trust my gut. And I was like, "No." And kind of laughed too. I was just kind of like, "I know you did not just tell me to take my shirt off." And yeah, and then he kind of was like, played it back off and stuff. He was like, "Well, you could have got more work." And I was like, "I don't care." He was like that kind of thing. So this is what I'm talking about. So I am a person that's grown up being my own person. Now, had I been somebody different who was like desperate to be like in the industry, I probably would have taken my shirt off and just had him take photos of me in an alley with my shirt off in a bra, right? So, but yeah, I was like, meh, no thanks. I'm not gonna do that. So I know firsthand. So if I'm saying these things, it's not because I'm just bitter or whatever. It's like that kind of stuff happens more often than you realize. And it's not even just the entertainment industry. Okay. So as I take I don't want to show it too much, but I am drinking ginger beer. It's not alcoholic, y'all. So don't worry. I like it. It's spicy. So yeah, so R. Kelly, jail. Good for him. In jail. Stay there. because he used women, and people around him let him use women. And not even, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, children. They're under 18, most of them, if not all of them. Okay, he abused children, and that's why he's in jail right now. And people around him let it happen for years, y'all. And he was, getting awards and this and that and stuff. And again, before anybody again is at me or saying what about so and so, everybody is responsible for themselves. Yes. Okay. I'm not excusing anyone. So if you bring me anybody else that I can, talk about in this way, please bring them. Bring them all of them, no matter what they look like. Okay. So back to R. Kelly. All right. So I did a play in college, and we used a lot of his music, and we still all knew. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like we all knew. It was like an out loud secret of what kind of person he really was, and people just was kind of like, whatever, And I don't know. I'm hoping that this kind of thing changes now, and I'm not saying this is about canceling people. This is about accountability. Now, had he changed his ways or whatever, maybe. But he literally had some women kidnapped in a hotel in his apartment houses and stuff. Okay? So he has no remorse. He needs to be in jail. He needs to stay there for as long as they let him be in there. Okay? He needs to be in jail. And that's all I gotta say on that one. Harvey, the other guy, he needs to be in jail too. They need to let all of the victims come up and say something, because I feel like he is worse than R. Kelly in a lot of ways. Yeah, people can say, well, R. Kelly, he's mentally whatever, or he's just a person in the system too, and he had no real power. It's like, well, once you get power, any kind of power, it reveals what kind of person you really are. So again, I'm sorry, I'm jumping back to R. Kelly, but he had some power. Okay, he had power over like the influence that he had over other people around him. He had power over these girls, these children, and he abused it, and he abused them. Okay, Harvey Weinstein, same thing. Okay, he used his power to abuse people, mostly women, okay, to take advantage of a situation. And what really gets me in this, and not just with Harvey, but with a lot, and I'm not going to male bash, this is not about male bashing. I also grew up around a lot of men who, and not family, but men, say like at school or whatever, who wanted to be like a professional athlete or a performer of some kind. And one of the reasons why would be like, well, so I can get all the women and stuff like that. And yeah, there are things called groupies. Yeah, okay, I get that. But then what about just regular people? You hear these stories of these celebrities or whoever, they run around and they enjoy and indulge. Yeah, I've read, and I should have brought the Beatles book. Oh my gosh, now that is an eye opener. Okay, an eye opener. It's not the Beatles book; it's John Lennon's book. But yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, so I get it. There definitely are women out there who will throw themselves at a certain somebody, but then there's also the flip side of like certain celebrities being predatory. I've heard stories, y'all. Okay, I don't want to just keep dropping names, but I live in Atlanta, and I've heard the stories of certain performers acting in a way that they really shouldn't. If they didn't have the status that they had, they might not be putting it out there like, oh, I want you to go do this and get, whatever, you, reveal your body and all this other stuff. But then again, they might. I don't know. Then there's other things now that Hollywood is here in the city. I've heard stories about certain actors because I also still have friends who are in the industry and they see these actors and they see them, when the cameras are not on and what they do and this and that. It's like, it's it's a little gruesome. Okay. Like one actor in particular, like he was super big in romantic comedies, and he also has a famous actor brother who somebody told me through, and this is, I know it sounds like rumors, but this is like industry talk. Okay, so this actor, he went on a date with like a local chick here in Atlanta, and she legitly was like she thought she was on a date, like, and when he showed up for the date, like, yeah, he was super casual. I think he was just thinking more low key or whatever. And so they went out, and stuff. And then it was almost like not very long into the date that he asked for a sexual favor from her. And it just kind of came out of the blue. And she was like, what? Yeah. So he just asked for, a sexual thing. Just, and again, I'm not saying this just because he's a celebrity, because there are men that will do this also. But it's definitely a situation where we've made this industry predatory. And I've made certain choices in my career as a musician to not do certain things or to associate with certain people because I want to, have my peace, quite honestly. Okay. And it's not about, like, again, I'm not naming names. If you come to me privately, we might talk differently, but I'm not here to, maybe they changed their ways. Maybe they're doing better. I don't know. But it's not about just naming who it is, because it could be anybody. It really can. And I'm so glad that even me right now, I'm sitting in my living room. My cat somewhere, I don't know where he is right now, and it's unusual, but like I'm sitting in my living room and I'm broadcasting to the world right now. That's access. This is what I'm talking about now. This is what's making me excited as a creative person, as a person who wants to get her work out into the world without gatekeepers, without somebody who is holding the carrot over me saying, oh, well, if you don't do this, then I guess you won't be able to have your own show, or you won't be able to do these other things. And then I can name people in the last at least 5 to 10 years, probably 5 years, who they wrote their own ticket now because of the access now. Okay. So if you've heard of Issa Rae, when she first came out, or actually when she was still just doing her creative thing, she was doing it on YouTube. Okay. So I remember watching her awkward black girl thing on YouTube. I never saw the thing on HBO because I don't know. I hear about the negotiations, and it's like it's not turning the show that it was before. And I liked her show YouTube. Okay, and me and my partner at the time, we would watch it together, and it would be like so funny. It was so funny, and I think it's still up too. Quite honestly, if it is, I'm gonna go ahead and link it. And there was like a couple of other people who I would watch them do their own like TV shows. Um, and I can't remember. Uh, and I'll put hers on there too. There was another lady who she had like being black in the workplace. That was awesome. Okay, it was like The Office, but for black people. And it basically awkward black girl. She was the same. It was basically the same too. It was like The Office, but for black people. And it was just funny, and it was just something that was needed at the time that nobody was addressing, nobody was trying to make a show for, because most gatekeepers are like, nobody wants to watch a show like that, nobody wants to watch black people be normal, like they are normal, nobody wants to see that. So they just went ahead and did their own. Like, in fact, let me see if I can look this up. But yeah, they did their own shows. And so when Issa used that as leverage, I'm not saying don't go through these gatekeepers, but have some leverage. Okay, have real juice. And now is the time to do that with. Okay, we don't need these gatekeepers anymore, and I'm happy about that. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna see if I can find her show, because I definitely want to find the other lady's show. And like I said, I'll put it in the description. Okay. So we've got awkward. So you tell me, what do you think about these sentencings? So like R.Kelly got what, an additional year, and flipped. Sorry, Harvey got an additional year. No, wait. Yeah, R.Kelly got an additional year, and then Harvey got convicted, and he's probably gonna do 30, and he's already 70, which means he's gonna die there, and he needs to. So, so what do you think? This is interesting. Somebody tried to do a copycat? She changed her, I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to this. She changed her channel's name, and it's now a media thing. So it's Hooray Media. So Awkward Black Girl. It's so funny. Yeah. I probably will watch these again. Because, yeah, they were hilarious. They were so funny. And I don't, like I said, once she got signed, I was happy for her when she got the HBO deal, because she had leverage. Okay. And even though, yeah, she did kind of, I guess, I don't know, I wasn't in the business of all the negotiations, but knowing that she had leverage and she used the leverage. Okay. And that's what we all should be doing, using our leverage. So yeah, so she has that. So Hooray Media, I will put that. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at one of the episodes. Oh my gosh, it is hilarious. So again, so I'm super happy for her. And then the other actress that did I'm trying to remember the name of that show. So it's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me that I don't remember her name. And I hope that she's doing well. The other is like, maybe I need to go into my other, because I got more than one channel, y'all. But I will find it and I will shout her out, because there's so much talent out here, and I can only imagine when they try to pitch it to like cable or whoever, people were like, nobody wants to see black people be normal or whatever, They want to see you being a drug addict. They want to see you being a gang. They want to see you in poverty and all this other stuff. And it's like, but I'm not, you know? And I say you write your own ticket, you make your own way, right? We don't need abusers. We don't have to uh, pay the pay our dues. Pay our dues. When people say pay your dues, that's what I think of when people say that kind of stuff. It's like, oh well, that means you got to go and do do things that you would normally do anyway. So I'm not saying don't do what you want to do in bed with other people. It's like, no, if you don't want to do that, that shouldn't like harm your career if you don't want to do that. Because there are some people who don't. Okay. Me, one of them. I don't want to do that just to get ahead. And I've even known some colleagues who have done some things to get ahead. Okay. And again, I mean, hopefully they did it because they actually wanted to do it and they weren't doing it because they felt like that was the only way to get something, you know? And that's where I am here I want to help people realize like you don't have to do that kind of stuff. No, you're not going to probably, I mean, or actually maybe you will. Because I don't imagine Issa, having to go do, bedroom favors for people because she wants to make a television show. Then there's like, people like Shonda Rhimes, like since there had been a bit of a renaissance, I think, and doors opening now. So there's a lot more, and I think I'm talking more specifically about Black women, more doors opening and more people really just getting their opportunity. Okay. There's so many talented people that they just don't get their opportunity because gatekeepers want things that they don't want to do, right? So even if it wasn't R.Kelly, it's somebody else. There's always somebody. And we don't have to do this anymore. We don't have to subject ourselves to people who again, the carrot, just, we don't have to do that anymore. And what I do want to and I don't want this to be too long. I do just want to say that, yeah, our opportunities are open now, more open than ever. And I also do believe we are in a new economic revolution. Okay. There are people who are doing well for themselves, who they're not going out there just telling people their net worth. There are people who are, again, being super creative. The last time I was on the other day, I was talking about the artist who I was wanting to help me, put my concept together for my music. Who she is busy, and then I then just saw her on Instagram again. I guess she's working on, I think, being a book artist, and that's amazing. Again, happy for her, happy that she's busy. Okay. And that's what I'm talking about. There are people who are doing work for themselves. They're working for themselves. And so don't let the economic TV news tell you, yeah, they want to show you a couple of closed restaurants or a couple of, like, I don't know, fast food joints that are closing. It's like, but who wants to work those kind of jobs? Who wants to be 30, 40, 50 years old and that's the only thing you have? You got to cobble together 2 and 3 jobs. Yeah, we live in the United States, and yeah, we have so many opportunities and benefits to ourselves. And then there's also the health, like people are holding back the knowledge, or really not really holding back the knowledge, because there's so many people telling in the last year or so, and I'm gonna be one of them. I'm telling. Okay, so whatever it is you want to do in life, creative, you can do it. If you're looking to make a living out of it, it's possible. Okay, you can do it. And I'm not saying this to be all like motivational and fanciful. It's like, no, I actually see it now, and you're about to witness it about to happen also for me. And in a way, I was already doing it, but now I see how much easier it is. So much easier it is. We've got all these avenues, like instead of record labels, we've got these social medias, and they keep growing and they keep going. These all these outlets, that is our label. Sign yourself, okay? Make your goods, make your craft, do it. And again, there's this one, and again, I am going to end this, but I just want to say that that came across this one artist that came across my news feed. She's an Etsy artist. Etsy as in the website. I have an account, I'm trying to bring that back, and we'll see what's actually going to be in there or not. But she makes polymer clay art and jewelry. And the first video I saw of hers, so far I've seen like 2 or 3 of her videos. And granted, okay, let me just lay it down to you. Okay, so she said last year she made $90,000 from her art revenue. Okay, so take home money might be different because she does still have roommates, and I don't know what city she lives in, but she definitely lives in a city. She has some roommates, but she only works for herself. She even talked about how she was working, waiting tables at one point in time, and maybe even helping her family a little bit of time. But once she figured out, she was like, look, I can make this work. And she made it work. She's not even, I don't even know how old she is. Like, I think she just barely got out of college. So she's not even 30. Okay. She's making at least last year, $90,000 revenue, making polymer jewelry. And she's also now come out with some enamel pins, like, the little button pins. But that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody's saying go out here and be a millionaire. In my last video, I said, let's be a thousandaire. Let's be thousandaires, y'all. Okay? We can make it happen. Instead of scrolling, how about you be a part of what's out there? Think of it this way. Okay, so there are full-on industries that if you're scrolling on a certain social media platform and you just see like certain kind of content, like humor or whatever, there's whole industries now of agencies that are shopping this. If you see, like, starting to see more and more news outlets playing a lot of these clips from social media, who do you think's getting this stuff to them? Agents. They're making money. Okay, it's happening. How do you think it got there? Yeah, so like even newspaper or writing magazine, they're looking for people in social media. They're looking. Okay, there is no, like, you write your own ticket. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Write your own ticket. And you don't have to play to anybody else's narrative either to do it. Because there's so many people when and maybe my next thing will be about like these singing shows, how I hate them. I detest them. Okay. I've probably only seen 1 or 2 seasons of American Idol when it first came out, and I realized it was some foolishness. Okay. When it came to The Voice, I had a little story time around that too, but it's not what y'all think it is. Okay. And when I'm out doing my job, gigging, getting paid too, by the way, people will come up to me and be like, "Oh, you should try to get on American Idol." It's like, for what? So they can get my money? And I will tell you, okay, there's so much I could tell y'all. Before I go about The Voice. So I don't recall what season it was, but it was not the first season. So it was like probably season 2 or 3 or something. And of course, again, people were trying to, I was giving music lessons at the time, voice lessons. And that's also where I kind of was like, please don't come to me asking me to help you a month before you have an audition somewhere and you think that you're going to get on a show. I'm like, please don't do that. And I used to get people like that all the time. But anyway, so The Voice was looking for people. I don't think they had open casting. So they were kind of like fishing for certain kinds of people. And they were looking for people who were already performers. So I heard about it. Some people were telling me about it, and I was like, I don't want to audition, that kind of thing, basically. But then when that particular season started, and I see all these contestants that are on it, I was like, I can't, like, wait, I know, there was one lady in particular. Her name is Rebecca Loeb, and she was on there. I didn't actually ever work with her. I have other friends that have played with her. So she was on that particular season. And I was always like, I saw 1 or 2 of those shows. But now I was like, she has a couple of CDs out. Why is she talking about them? And I was like, because she's probably under contract and she's not supposed to talk about her other work. Because she was already a regional like celebrity in the Southeast. Yeah, see, that's the stuff they don't want to tell you. And she was under contract not to talk about her own artistic work that she already had out there. It was like people who already knew her that was kind of like sneaking it out there, so she couldn't do it herself though. And yeah, that's the sad part where. And yeah, they got a weekly salary too. I think it was, hey, pretty nice salary. And hey, had I known, I probably would have tried it too, I guess, had I known. But also knew that if you're going to be on a national stage like that, that's such promotion. Of course, you wouldn't have needed any of that salary had she had the ability to promote herself and her own work. But she wasn't allowed to do that. Yeah, she wasn't allowed to do it. So that's what I'm talking about. We need to exercise our own leverage in this. We don't need to be begging people for a spot. It burns me up still when I still see people putting out there on social media and in music groups, like pay somebody $50 to go sing at their party. No, them not paying you, but you paying them. They're having the party, but you're going to pay them some money so that you can sing a song or two. I am not making this stuff up. I wish I was. I really wish I was. Please stop doing this, y'all. Please don't do this anymore. So yeah, I'm going to go now. It's getting close to my bedtime. Now I'm getting sleepy. All right, so this particular episode has been brought to you by my ginger beer and my seltzer water. Even though I had drank much of it, I'm gonna drink it now. And I'm tired, and I need to go call my cat. Oh gosh. All right, so hopefully you've also been watching my I'm gonna call it my vlog. My first episode came out about a month ago, and I'm hoping to. I have things recorded. I just need to edit. But I'm looking for people who are doing their own thing. Basically, they're not asking for permission. They're not held up by this mindset of, oh, you need to be doing this and this and that and that. Like, we're in the middle of a whole new world where we do things based on what we need to have done and it's done. Okay? We don't need gatekeepers. We don't need gatekeepers. And I also want people to see that there are people doing some really cool and amazing things that I just happen to know them by being nerd queen, doing my own thing when I was doing it and still doing it, by the way. I'm just um behind the scenes. So yeah, you'll probably see me just do this. Um I thought about bringing out my guitar, singing a little bit, but I'm like, I don't feel like it. You know, I want to talk more about this whole like, let's get rid of these like predators and pedophiles and stuff. And I'm celebrating that. I'm hoping more and more, even the people, like I said, look, if you were a part of that and you were being a predator towards women or people who you thought you could take advantage of, maybe you're reformed. Okay. So that's why, yet another reason why I don't name names, because maybe they are doing better now. Maybe they've reformed themselves. Again, it's not about counseling that person. It's about this system of people getting taken advantage of because they think that this is the only way to do it. And it's not. It is so not. Okay. I know I just said I was going to end like, 5 minutes ago. Anyway, for real, I am going to end now. So, yeah, tell me. What's next? So yeah, when I see news like this come up, I am gonna try to come and bring my perspective to it. Like, it's not about whatever or what about so and so, what about whoever. It's like, nope, I'm talking about this person today. Okay. And I don't want to be negative when it comes to this either. So again, I talked about Issa Rae, I talked about Rebecca Loeb, talked about the other women that again I just can't. I am going to put them in the description though, because it is time for us all to shine. Okay, we're no longer going to dim our shine. Okay, with that.